Wednesday, the 14th of September, and the short-term charts are really becoming a pretty big mess more than anything, as a lot of it has been a lot of indecisive action still within this downtrend and a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. Only this high and potentially this high, but most likely will be a lower high because it's got to get above 42 and over a half, so 42 and 2/3. Then you have this low, and then this low down at 39 and change. So now we see this thing going above here on the Fibonacci level, then below it, then back, finding support. But overall, it's just merely nothing more than sideways consolidation. Now, if you look at some of these pictures in here, there are what I call an inside period, inside day. And there's one in here. There was one in here. And there's several of them. And what that is when you make a lower high and a higher low from the previous candle. And I put up some stats last week for how silver would do when it faces an inside period. I tell my computer to say, if this current period has that lower high, if it has the higher low, and then tell me for an uptrend and a downtrend and what the stats happen to be. And I was surprised to find that simply playing the inside period in an uptrend to go long and the inside period in a downtrend to go short. Now, a lot of this is German for people, and I understand that, and some people will understand what is written within here. Now, an uptrend is defined in this example as the front-weighted 3-period average of closes, highs, and lows to be greater than its previous one. So therefore, if you have the three numbers, high, low, and close, for the last 3 days, you multiply these numbers by 3, these numbers by 2, these by 1, you divide the whole thing by 18, and you get a short-weighted front-weighted average. And this would tell my computer that are we in an uptrend or in a downtrend. Within an uptrend, and this only goes up to September the 2nd, if you hold it for one period, you see at the end of the period, oh, it's an inside period, I want to go long. If you hold it for one period, you would be getting 0.19% per play on average and a total yield of 11.76% from February the 23rd to September the 2nd. A overall gain of 18% holding for 2 periods or a half a day, 33% for holding 3/4 of a day or 3 periods. Full day would give you a total yield of 63% almost, although that's lower as we look back and see that on this inside day, 1, 2, 3 periods from now, you were in a losing proposition, and more so on the 4 and 5 here. And within 4, you'd be up 62%, and 5, 74.78%. Now, within a downtrend, you would see that it's down overall 10%, even though you have a 28 and 21 winning record. Overall down 10% by holding it for 6 hours after you see the inside period within a downtrend. 25% plus on 2 periods, and then the rest of the stats are as follows. And there really isn't a genuine system that says, hey, do this and you're going to win. But the theory within an inside period is that of sideways consolidation and taking a small breather within the current trend. And that's why I wanted to bring that up. And then I decided to do the daily chart on the Dow going back to 1928. And then what I seen within the same calculation, the same formulas, is that it was very useless on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Pretty much was the exact same as a long-term trend, not really worth looking at. But it's something I will keep my eye on later on because those numbers were just a little too wild. And maybe I'll redo it again, but I did check my formulas and they were fine. And I'm going to finish this off within the 3-day chart. It ends tomorrow. This is the second day within the 3-day. Today is the 14th, and it's close to 1700 hours Central European time. I think what's important here is this 50-day moving average, or close to the 50-day moving average. It's front-weighted, but it has been holding as support, maybe a little more than we may like. However, the trend is still in play, and that is that of this is resistance and support. I'll try to do a parallel one and see if I can come up with a better one, and that would be your trend. Now it's holding on barely at this point, but it is still holding. Right now the 18-period average of closes is $40.87. Currently $40.64. So pretty much right at this level. We're still, of course, within this range, and for the most part, I look at all this and I say, well, we're sideways. How long are we going to go sideways? I really don't know, but I am waiting at some point for a break of this level for things to really get going, because watching these long-term charts, well, over the long-term time frame anyway, when you see these long-term charts, it's like watching paint dry or watching the grass grow. It can take a heck of a long time. Therefore, when you're deciding what it is that you want to do, it's good to be patient. Maybe not too patient, but be patient enough to take a lot of the time that you can, decide all of the different factors that are available to you, understand how long do I have before, well, things get really out of control. And if you don't use time, you can use numbers. Well, I'm looking for a break above 44, and then I'm ready to go. Okay, well then, you know, if you watch this chart waiting for the break over 44, that it would be like watching the grass grow. But if you take a few weeks, a few months, and not see what's going on, then a lot of times these things can just really get out of control. And that's why I kind of wonder what's going to happen when the news comes out stating we don't actually have the silver that's in the warehouse, and what's that going to do to the price, and how fast is that going to happen? And when more and more people do wake up to the situation, then you're going to see the charts within here and the information of how fiat currency is created. And I've been saying that for a long time, and I can start to see on comments on forums and articles that the majority of the people get it. I think the powers that be do realize that to be the case. And to me, it does seem as if they are losing control. And what would losing control look like on a chart like this half-year chart? This is pretty much losing control. When you go from $5 to $50 in a little over that of a half a year, with the majority coming from here, and this was just a few weeks in to the start of the year 1980. This was a difference of going up about 900% or so in less than 12 months. 900% in a short period of time. And it's quite interesting because there's a lot going on, or there's something people stating that all of these fancy financial instruments, the derivatives, the options of all those types of things, create massive volatility within the market. And I'd have to agree that it actually does. And the question is, would we have higher volatility than we previously had because we have a lot more of those fancy volatile financial instruments that we had back in the 1970s? Myself, I can't say for sure, but it does seem as if that's the case. And with the high frequency trading that we've seen before with fast moves, it's only a matter of when that is the case. And if you're day trading this stuff, it can get extremely wild. But this isn't about day trading. This is about protecting yourself against the fiat currency. Maybe just maybe, we'll be making a new all-time high before the end of the year. And then when we finally do that, expect wild rides both up and down with the primary direction to the upside.